Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to explain you about longest unequal adjacent group subsequence one. So let us go through the problem statement. It says you are given a string array words and a binary array groups. So they have given a string vector of string which is words and vector of integer. Basically here integer will be only binary, which means 0 and 1, and its vector name is groups, and both has a size of n, where words of I is associated with the group, which means uh, let's say this first word is associated with the first item in the group, second word is associated with the second item in the group. It says that your task is to select the longest alternating subsequence from words. So as you know, subsequence means in a given string or vector, so you need to have the elements in your other vector such that the ordering of the sequence is maintained, and also like the middle elements can be removed or it can have it. So I think you know the definition of substring, so I'll proceed with this. And you need to find the longest alternating substring. A subsequence of words is alternating if for any two consecutive strings in the sequence, their corresponding elements in the binary array group differ. Here it is saying that if you want to choose the element from the word string, I mean vector of string, so you need to have in such a way that the group elements has to differ, which means let's say you are choosing E and A. So in that case this is not a correct, because if you see E is associated with the 0 and A is also associated with 0, and the which means these two elements do not differ. So we can't take it. Now if you take E and B, which means 0 and 1, so both are not equal, so we can choose E and B, and this is our answer. Also we can choose A and B. Reason being, see, A has 0 and B has 1, so both are different, so we can choose them. So our answer can be either EB or AB. So in this case we are returning AB. So as you can see, they have given differ. Essentially you are choose to string such that adjacent elements have non-matching corresponding bits in the group array. Formally you need to find the longest subsequence of an array of indices 0 to n minus 1, denoting as I0 this thing such that groups of ij is not equal to group of ij plus 1. So it's a lengthy question. By the way, it's very easy to solve. So we need to return the selected subsequence. If there are multiple answers, return any of them. As I said here, here we have multiple answers, EB and AB. So we are retaining just EB. Note the elements in words are distinct. Okay, they've also given that in this word. They've also given that in words these elements are unique, distinct. Now let's come down to the second example. First example I have explained. So if you see here, in groups we have 1 0 1 1, and which are associated with A B C D respectively. Now if we happen to choose AB, then it is a valid choose, because 1 and 0 both are different, so we can choose it. So here we have taken it, AB, in our answer. And since last chosen is 0, next we need to take is 1, so this one we are choosing C, so we have taken ABC. Also we can choose in this way, AB and D, because 1 0 and 1, like if you see group sequence, all are different. 1 is not equal to 0 and 0 is not equals to 1. So in this way we can choose. And if you happen to choose, let's say you're taking B and C, BC, see, B has 0 and C has 1, so these two is chosen. Okay, so and its length is only 2, and they are asked us to choose the longest. So the ABC holds good because its size is 3, and if you happen to choose BC, and you cannot choose D, meaning 1 and 1 are equal, so you are not allowed to choose D. So only length of 2 are getting in this case, so you need to choose A, B and C, which has length of 3. Now let's come to the constants. Um, so words length and group length both are equal, and both are equal to n, and n size is approximately, from 1 to 100, and words of length. If you happen to see here, EB all has length of 1, ABCD all has length of 1. So this could have a length of from 1 to 10, and group will have either 0 or 1. And words consist of distinct, okay, this I've already said, distinctions it has. And the words of I consist of only lowercase English letters. We don't have capital letters or any other characters of the ASCII code or Unicode. Now, if you see, if you observe clearly, since they are saying if you are choosing any element from the words, and its corresponding elements are there in groups, and this has to be different. So, and they are saying we need to find the longest. So it's an easy problem. So let's say you happen to choose 0 first, because only two choices are there, either 0 or 1. So first, if you choose 0, so then next time you'll have to choose 1. So in this case, see, 0 is chosen, and then second element is 1. So E and B could be your answer, so which is what we are returning. Let's say you are choosing 1 for the first time. So if you are choosing 1, then in that case you will have to choose 0. So I was here. If you are choosing 1 as the first element, so in that case, proceeding further, you need to find 0. Now let's clearly understand one more time from this example. Let's say you are choosing 1 for the first time. If you are choosing 1, then next element you will be choosing is 0. So you will choose this one. So A will be in our with answer array, and then next 0 you will have to find. So that is B, corresponding to 0 is B. So you are entering into it. Next you will be finding 1, because they are asked to find the differ values. So 101 is fine. So we are entering as C. Now it also happens that let's select the first element as 0 in our group. So if you choose 0, so in array B will be inserted in answer array, and next after 0 you will have to find 1, and if you are finding 1, so C will be inserted. So our answer will be BC. But and then if you find next 0, you don't have any 0, so its length is 2. So in this case, if we start with the 1, so you are getting 3 elements. So this is your optimal answer. So I think you got the idea. You'll have to you'll have to find the answer starting with 1 and starting with 0. So and you'll have to see which has the more number of elements in the array, so that you will have to return. Now let's code it up. So first let us take n as words dot size. We have taken n. Now we'll start with the 1 element in the group. 1 in group. In groups vector we'll try to find 1. So let's take index equals to -1, and we'll start with 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and we'll try to find here if groups of I equals to 1, which means we got first one where it is occurring in our group vector. So we will take index equals to I, and then we'll break out. Now we'll try to find our answer. So vector of string answer 1, let's take it, and we'll iterate from this index I equals to index I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, since we are finding it for 1, which means we want first value is 1, so we'll take one flag bool 1 equals to 2 true. So I think you got this. If 1, which means we are finding it for 1, else we are finding it for 0. Alternating we will be finding, first time we will find for 1, second time we will find it for 0. So and since we are starting with the 1, so I took bool 1 as true. Now here what we need to find is, we will have to find if groups of I equals to 1, which means we found 1, we'll have to push this element into our answer vector, which is push answer 1, and then you'll have to push words of I, and now you need to reverse the value of flag 1, because we have found 1, next we will be finding 0. We have found here, let's say 1, and we will be now looking for 0. Now in the same else condition, what we'll do is, we'll try to find groups of I equals to 0, which 0, which means we are finding it for 0 and we found 0, so we will be inserting that element into our answer vector, and we will be reversing the value of 1, which means we have found 0 and now we are finding it for 1, alternating. Now this one we have done when we are finding elements starting with the 1. Now let's find starting with the 0. Okay, same thing. Now let's take the same variable as index, we'll initialize it to -1. One more thing, before moving to this condition, it may happen that index is -1 and we did not have any 1 in this group. So in that case, we will not ever go into this, we will not able to go into this if condition, and index will be -1 only, and here index will be -1, and if you happen to go inside group of -1, which is not a valid index, so you will have to take here condition, if index not equals to -1, then only we will have to find it, which means this for loop is for finding 1, starting with 1. So if 1 is not there, so this will take overflow condition, I mean index is not correct, index out of bound. So this is the case where it will handle. Now let's take index is equal to 1, and same thing, this will be copy pasting. Let's copy paste. Now instead of 1, we are starting with 0, so we will be finding 0 first. We are finding 0, we got 0 index, break. Same thing, now vector will take it, and we are taking vector, and this is, let's say name it as 0, reason being we are starting with 0 and we have already taken 1 as flag, and since we are finding from the 0 first, so 1 will be false, and we'll have to write if index not equals to -1, then we are doing again this stuff. Okay, this stuff is same, but here we are finding it for 0. I think you got the above for loop was for finding element which starts with 1, and this one is finding element which start with 0. Now we got everything here, and let's return our answer. First what we'll do is answer 1 dot size, if it is less than answer of 0 dot size, which means if we are starting with 0, then answer is this one has more of value, so in that case we need to return answer 0, else we'll return answer 1, which means it has more value, more number, I mean longest subsequence, adjacent subsequence. Now let's run the code. Yeah, it is running fine. Now let's submit the code. Yeah, it got submitted and it is 100%. Good. Now let's analyze the time complexity. So as you can see here, this loop is running for n times, and let's say first element is only 1, so this loop again will be executed for n times, so n plus n to n. Now this again we will be running for n times, 3n, and at max again this, let's say second element is our 0, so this again will be running for n times. So time complexity is 4n. Now let's come to the space complexity. Are we taking any? Yeah, these two we are taking, but it's part of answer. So I think space complexity can be treated as 1, or else it is O of n. Since they have asked us to return answer, so we need to take a variable to return it, so that is the reason it is O of 1. But as again, if you are not taking it as if you are chasing this element, answer 1, answer 0 is it is taking space complexity, which means it will be O of n. So yeah, I think you guys can give me feedback about how am I able to explain properly or not, or do I need to choose green board or white board to explain. So in that way I can go good. Yeah, thank you.